Hello everyone. This is the 18th part of the story, Marvel Unlimited Skills, I Can Download. Chapter 130, Energy. Shaking hands was the most basic social etiquette in the United States, so Scott certainly would not doubt Bruce's purpose. In fact, the Avengers who had been downloaded by Bruce didn't know Bruce's real purpose when they were shaking hands every time. And the moment Bruce touched Scott's hands, the information of Scott appeared in Bruce's brain. Name, Scott Lang. Identity, E-Engineer, Ant-Man. Ability, Ant-Man's battle suit, energy value, 2000, high-level fighting technique, 130 MB. Bruce was right. When Scott had stolen Ant-Man's battle suit, his identity had already become Ant-Man, because Scott was destined to be the direct inheritor of Dr. Pym. This was also as expected. As for other things, Bruce did not think too much. At the moment, Scott just had two abilities. And the two abilities were not so outstanding compared to other superheroes. But the ability of Scott's Ant-Man's battle suit was very unique, which could enlarge and narrow his body. If using it in the fight, it would have an unexpected effect. More importantly, the Ant-Man's battle suit only cost 2,000 points of energy value. Without any hesitation, Bruce began to download Scott's Ant-Man's battle suit. Beep, the connection is successful. Beep, do you want to cost 2,000 points of energy value to download Ant-Man's battle suit? Yes. Beep, the download was successful. Beep, congratulations to the host for getting the Ant-Man's battle suit successfully. After hearing the sound of the system, Bruce smiled. The Ant-Man's battle suit was invented by Dr. Pym, who had devoted all his life to study. Although its power was not too terrifying, Bruce was quite satisfied. But if he wanted to let Ant-Man's battle suit have the power of narrowing the body all the time, he needed a large number of Dr. Pym particles. Therefore, what Bruce most wanted was actually Dr. Pym particles. But now, Bruce really had no way to get it. Because Dr. Pym particles couldn't be manufactured in large quantities and kept for too long. Moreover, Dr. Pym was the only one who knew how to manufacture Dr. Pym particles. And that was also why Dr. Pym fell out with Howard Stark before. Howard Stark was just the father of Iron Man. It seems that I still need to find a way to get the development method of Dr. Pym particles. Bruce thought in his heart. After all the power of Ant-Man's battle suit came from Dr. Pym particles. And at this time, Scott had put down his palm and became relaxed. If you have any trouble in the future, you can come to me and I will try to help you solve it. At the moment, Bruce looked at Scott in front of him and said, with a smile on his face. From the beginning to the end, the impression that Bruce gave to Scott was mostly mysterious and not malicious. And it was enough for Bruce to make Scott believe him. More importantly, Bruce had just guaranteed that he would solve troubles for him in the future, which made Scott feel reassured. Thank you, Mr. Bruce. If you need my help in the future, I will do my best. Bruce was satisfied with Scott's words. Although he had not fully controlled Scott, he had already gotten his trust basically. Well, I have other things to do. Anyway, if you do according to what I have told you, there would be nothing wrong happening. After saying this, Bruce said goodbye to Scott. And Scott nodded and left this place directly. In his mind, the mysterious Bruce was protecting him. As an ordinary person, there was already no need for him to worry about any other trouble. Beep, congratulations to the host for getting the trust of Scott Lang. Beep, the task had been finished, congratulations to the host for gaining 15,000 energy values. There were 15,000 energy values? When Bruce heard the voice of the system, his eyes were shining. There were so many energy value rewards, which was totally beyond his expectations. The 15,000 energy value was enough for him to download a higher level of ability. Suddenly, Bruce felt that he became very wealthy. At the same time, he was also a little puzzled about how to use so many energy values. And the voice of the system appeared again when Bruce was seriously thinking. Beep, new task: the host should obtain the trust of the current Master Ancient One in 3 months. At that moment, the system task was coming again. This time, it was to gain the trust of Ancient One. Ancient One could be the most powerful existence on Earth. Her magic power was extremely terrifying. Before Doctor Strange had fully grown up, his battle effectiveness was less than 1/10 of Ancient One. And in the Marvel movie, Ancient One was the first one who had enough strength to battle with Thanos. More importantly, if Thanos didn't have the Infinity Gauntlet, the Ancient One could easily defeat him. This was undoubted. After all, Ancient One had lived for such a long time. Therefore, if Bruce was able to download Ancient One's power, he would not have to worry about Thanos. And his power would reach an incredible degree. Therefore, before the time came, what Bruce needed to do was to stop Thanos from getting Infinity Gauntlet. At this moment, Bruce had determined which ability he should download next. But before this, he needed to carefully prepare for it. Whereafter, Bruce went back to the hotel directly. During this time, his focus had been on Scott and he did not give attention to other things. Now that the task had been completed, he would need further plans. At this moment, Bruce laid on the bed of the hotel and opened his own property panel. Name, Bruce Lite. Identity, Level 6 Agent. Ability, Vast Tribulation War God Body, God Bloodline, Godly Fighting Ability, Control of Thunder and Lightning, Acer's Strength, Magic Ball, Body Blur, High Speed Movement, Spider Telepathy, Body and Shield as one. Warehouse, Super Vibranium Shield, Mark Armor, Ant-Man's Battle Suit. Balance, $2 million. Energy value, 17750. Bruce had more and more abilities. At the same time, he also had some abilities with similar attributes, and each of his abilities was very powerful. But Bruce was not planning to integrate now. Because the most important thing for him now was to download the ability of Ancient One. At the same time, the only thing that made Bruce worried now was Dr. Pym particles. Once Bruce ran out of original Dr. Pym particles from the Ant-Man battle suit, then this suit was totally useless. Wait, the energy value seemed to be able to upgrade the battle suit. At the moment, Bruce's eyes lit up and thought of the possibility. Chapter 131, Suit. Bruce's Vibranium Shield and Mark Armor, all could be upgraded through energy value. After the upgrade, these equipment's ability would be improved in all aspects. With the rapid increase of Bruce's strength, he didn't use the Vibranium Shield and Mark Armor much before, so he didn't waste the energy value to upgrade them. But Ant-Man's battle suits were widely used, not just in battle, so Bruce was ready to upgrade it with energy value. Maybe something magical would happen. After thinking about this possibility, Bruce did not hesitate to start the upgrade directly. System, upgrade the Ant-Man's battle suit. The system started to upgrade directly after receiving Bruce's command. Beep, this upgrade will cost 1500 energy value. Do you want to continue? It was surprising that it needed 1500 energy values. Bruce didn't spend a lot of energy value in upgrading Mark Armor and his Vibranium Shield before, so Bruce was a little shocked. At the moment, it had to take so much energy to upgrade the Ant-Man battle suit. This made Bruce a little depressed. But he did not hesitate for a long time, and chose to yes directly. He wanted to see what kind of change would happen after the Ant-Man battle suit was upgraded. After Bruce's confirmation, the system shot out a strong beam of light on Ant-Man's battle suit. The Ant-Man's battle suit had been greatly improved in all aspects after automatic repair in the warehouse. At the moment, Ant-Man's battle suit has changed again after using energy value to upgrade. And this time, it took more than 2 hours to upgrade. In the process of upgrading, the appearance of Ant-Man battle suit became more sophisticated and shrouded a mysterious halo. Especially the color of the suit had completely changed into black, which was almost the same as the color of ants. Even in the shape, there was also a great change, it was just like a demon now. Beep, congratulations to the host for upgrading the Ant-Man's battle suit successfully. Beep, congratulations to the host for getting Ant-Man's battle suit, unlimited. The voice of the system came, making Bruce's eyes bright. Then, the information about the post-upgraded Ant-Man's battle suit was also passed into Bruce's mind. When Bruce accepted all the information, he was excited. In fact, the unlimited Ant-Man's battle suit's biggest feature was to expand and shrink without limitation. Yes, no limit. It would not need the supplement of PIM particles, and maybe the battle suit could automatically produce the PIM particles. More importantly, the suit had additional functions. For example, it could control some insects, ants, locusts, etc. As long as they were insects, Bruce could control them with an Ant-Man battle suit. In the original plot, the Ant-Man Scott could only control ants, but after the upgrade the battle suit was much stronger than Scott's. At the beginning, Bruce was a little upset that upgrading it would take him 1,500 energy values. But after seeing the result of the upgrade, Bruce felt that it was worth spending so much energy value. Thinking of this, Bruce's face appeared to be a hint of excitement. In the information he had previously received, the upgraded battle suit could also be upgraded again. After the next upgrade, the Ant-Man battle suit would evolve into a quantum version. And the quantum version of Ant-Man battle suit was freely accessible to the quantum space and without any external interference. Free access to quantum space, this ability was extremely amazing. It's just that Bruce did not use this ability now, so he did not intend to upgrade immediately. And the function of the Ant-Man battle suit was already enough for him to use now. The plan was very perfect this time. Especially that Bruce did not need to worry about what would happen if he used up PIM particles. Then Bruce put on the Ant-Man battle suit directly. And it didn't require any manual operation and could be controlled directly with the mind. Boom, the next moment, Bruce's whole body had shrunk. He became as big as an ant. The chairs and the tables around him became like motorcycles. Even a pen was giant in the eyes of Bruce now. But his strength was not reduced because of his shrunk body, and even his strength became stronger. At the moment, with this kind of Ant-Man battle suit, Bruce's attack was even more diversified. It's worth it more. Moreover, he could control all the insects around him. At this moment, Bruce's excitement was already unable to be expressed by words. After 3 or 4 hours of controlling adaptation, Bruce returned to the normal size. Now he had already downloaded more than 2/3 of the Avengers' unique skills. And his next plan was still to get a more powerful force. After all, the desire for strength was endless for humans. But before this, he had something to deal with. After the morning of the next day, Bruce returned to New York and went to the Avengers base. Although Bruce had been very careful to conceal his tracks, his recent actions were absolutely known by some people. For this, Bruce had also prepared a plan to deal with it. When Bruce came to the Avengers base, the base was completely new. In the months of reconstruction, the Avengers base had become more powerful and there were even more general agents. Some general agents immediately greeted Bruce when they saw Bruce. Although Bruce's identity was still an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Bruce was basically no different from the real superhero in the eyes of these ordinary agents. "Why didn't anyone tell me you're back? Have you finished your vacation?" Not long after Bruce entered the Avengers base, Black Widow saw him. And she looked at Bruce with interest and a hint of smile in her eyes. "Of course not. But I heard that the situation of the S.H.I.E.L.D. is not good recently," Bruce said with a smile. After hearing that, Black Widows also laughed bitterly resignedly. "It is said that every country has complaints about Avengers. And they will make a Sokovia's bill. What do you think of it?" Black Widow responded by asking him. At this time, the Black Widow stood in front of Bruce, and her body-fitting suit made her look extremely exquisite. Her body line had been displayed in front of Bruce. Bruce secretly said in his heart, "Of course, standing and looking, what else could I do? I have heard about this. We'd better wait for director Nick Fury to give a formal notice, then we could discuss it. What about Pietro and Wanda?" Bruce turned the subject in time, and he wanted to know about the twins. "Recently, the twins have been carrying out the tasks with Captain America, and I'll also go out to carry out the task soon. At that time, only the Falcon stays at the base." Black Widow's answer didn't surprise Bruce at all. Then Bruce nodded, and he took out a document. "This is Dr. Pym's latest move. I hope it will help us in the future." Yes, Bruce handed the information of Dr. Pym to Black Widow directly. It was just that he didn't mention Ant-Man in the information. Chapter 132, Finish Plan. the SHIELD would definitely investigate Dr. Pym in the future. Instead of waiting for SHIELD to investigate, Bruce would take action before them and send the information of Dr. Pym to SHIELD directly. So that he could avoid the situation that when the SHIELD investigated the Dr. Pym, they would also find that he had contact with the Ant-Man before, which would rouse their suspicion. But Bruce contacted Ant-Man secretly, no one would know this. More importantly, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver also helped him. And he had handed over the information of Dr. Pym to Black Widow. Therefore, it was absolutely safe now. Right now, Bruce did not want other Avengers to know what links he and Ant-Man and the little Spider-Man had. Otherwise, this would be a disadvantage for his future plan. And after seeing the document, Black Widow immediately gathered her energy, with a hint of surprise on her face. Then she said, "I didn't expect that you are not idle at all in these 3 months." During this time, Bruce had solved a lot of criminals, and if the SHIELD knew that, the Black Widow would know it definitely. Bruce smiled and did not explain anything. He said, "Dr. Pym may have some other plans for follow-up. But I don't know what it is. You need to investigate this matter." At the moment, Bruce directly put the thing about Pym onto the table. His purpose was to let the SHIELD and the Avengers pay less attention to him. Although Bruce enjoyed the same treatment as a superhero, Bruce did not fully trust those Avengers. At the same time, he also knew that the SHIELD and the Avengers would not completely believe him. Therefore, it was the best choice for him to make full preparations. "Do you want to go again?" Black Widow was the top agent, and she could naturally get the meaning of Bruce's words. Since Bruce had handed the information to her, it meant that he did not have time to manage this matter. "Yes, I have many things to do." "Well, I think it's time for me to go home and have a look." Bruce said this with a smile. And when he said he would go back home, there was a strange emotion in his eyes. And after hearing this, Black Widow was shocked. At the same time, she also knew where Bruce was going to. "I need the SHIELD to help me deal with something. So I need your help." At the moment, Bruce turned around to look at the Black Widow and he looked very serious. "Don't worry. If you are ready to return to China, I will help you with the power of the SHIELD." The Black Widow nodded. She knew that Bruce would come back to China. "I hope next time you come back, we'll have some different stories between us," Black Widow said again. At this time, she was closer to Bruce, with charming eyes. Before that, the Scarlet Witch had beaten her to it, which made her very upset. It was just that because she was often very busy, she was temporarily unable to find a better chance to take action. But that did not mean she would not take action. She thought that she was also in Bruce's heart. "I wish." Bruce gave a smile to her and told the Black Widow about Dr. Pym's things again. After all, Dr. Pym once worked with Iron Man's father and he was not a simple figure. After taking care of these things, Bruce left the Avengers base directly. In fact, the purpose he came back to China was to find the Ancient One. Although there was a magic sanctuary in New York, the Ancient One usually would not appear in that place. Only going to where she lived all year could he find the true Ancient One. Bruce's task was to gain the trust of the Ancient One. Therefore, he had to make full preparations now. As for whether Ancient One would use Time Gem to find his existence or what he had done, Bruce was not worried about this. Because the infinite download system was beyond the rules of this world, even the power of infinite gems could not bound it. Not to mention the Ancient One, even the supreme deities in the whole Marvel world could hardly notice any of Bruce's traces. Because of the help of SHIELD, Bruce quickly completed the formalities for returning to China. Although the SHIELD had been boycotted by the world now, the lean camel is bigger than the horse, and its power was still not negligible. Next day, Bruce had prepared everything well. He directly boarded the plane to China. But the destination he went to needed to change planes. Therefore, he intended to stay in Beijing for a time before he went to the location of Ancient One. When Bruce set foot on this land again, his eyes were with a few sighs. There were few things about China in the Marvel world. But in comics, there were also many terrorist tasks in China. There was even a powerful organization that was comparable to the SHIELD, known as the Spear. But Bruce did not know whether there was also such an organization in the Marvel world. No matter whether it existed or not, Bruce did not give attention to this at all. In the film, Ancient One was a woman who had lived a long time. But in the cartoon, Ancient One was a male elder. No matter what the Ancient One's gender was, it was not important for Bruce. His purpose was only to get Ancient One's trust. Now, the plot of Ant-Man was constantly advancing, and Captain America, Civil War also would start. And Bruce did not want to participate in any of them. After all, he had already been in contact with the superheroes in the two plots. The only one that he didn't contact should be the Black Panther. And he had also arranged Ant-Man and the little Spider-Man well. The plot would develop as he expected. As for himself, what he needed to do was to become more powerful during this time. At the same time, Bruce felt that his next task would certainly have something to do with Doctor Strange. Moreover, Bruce had a greater premeditation that he wanted to replace Doctor Strange and fought with Dormammu. Of course, he did not want to replace Doctor Strange to become a master. In fact, he did not have any interest in becoming a master. He simply wanted to improve his power and did not want to be bound by any responsibility. If he was able to fight with Dormammu, then he would have the opportunity to get the skills of Dormammu. Dormammu was an extremely horrible existence, if it was not that his will to invade the Earth was not so strong, and plus the Doctor Strange used Time Gem to disturb his mind, the whole Earth had been destroyed by him long ago. Dormammu was absolutely a super terror. Even the Master Ancient One could not kill him, only could isolate him from the Earth. Therefore, if Bruce could obtain the abilities of Ancient One and Dormammu, then Thanos would not be his opponent definitely. This time, if his action was successful, he would detach immediately and become a true god. At that time, no matter what Thanos, Master and the Father of all God, they all could not do anything to Bruce at all. And this was the true detachment. This was the real change of his destiny. But he needed to do this step by step and could not make any mistakes. Or the results were hard to imagine. While Bruce was planning all this, he had already arrived at the place where Master Ancient One lived. Chapter 133, Kamar-Taj. The place Bruce was looking for was called Kamar-Taj, which was a very mysterious place. Although Bruce had seen the original film, he did not know where the place was. Kamar-Taj was also Ancient One's holy place, where she spent almost 2/3 of her life here. There were all 3 holy places in the world, each of which had its own guardian. If there were no special events happening, normally Ancient One would not go to another 2 holy places. Therefore, coming back to China and going to the Himalaya mountains was the most likely way for Bruce to find the Ancient One. At this time, Bruce came to a residential area in the Himalaya mountains area. He carefully observed everything around him, and the people went and came around. Everyone's dress was very strange and with national characteristics. In the film, Kamar-Taj was a very ordinary place on the surface and did not have any distinction with other residential places. It was just because of this, Kamar-Taj was hard to find for normal people. Bruce had looked for it for a long time nearby, but he could not find anything. Under desperation, Bruce came to a remote place and put on Ant-Man's battle suit. He was prepared to mobilize the insects here to help him look for it together. In this way, it would be much faster. After calling the insects, Bruce was able to share the view with all the insects, which was equivalent to that he had numerous eyes. But the area was too large, and many human settlements were almost exactly the same. Therefore, after 2 hours, Bruce still did not find Kamar-Taj. Is it true that Kamar-Taj can't be found easily, or I'm looking for the wrong place? At the moment, Bruce muttered to himself, feeling helpless in his heart. Ancient One unexpectedly likes to live in seclusion, which is totally different from other bigwigs. Just when Bruce was complaining, an ant asked Bruce to share the view. Bruce directly established a connection with the ant without any hesitation. As expected, a familiar figure appeared in front of him. The person in his view was dressed in a monk's clothes and looked very unusual. One of the disciples of the Ancient One, Baron Mordo. When he saw the man, a smile appeared on Bruce's face. As long as he found Mordo, it meant that he had already found Master Ancient One. Then Bruce rushed directly to the place where Mordo was. At this moment, Baron Mordo was focusing on everything around him. Then he suddenly felt that someone was watching him around him. But after he had observed a long time, he did not find anything special. Mordo had magic power and his sense of perception was very acute. But he couldn't find out the one who was spying on him. Who would it be? Mordo narrowed his eyes slightly and guessed, "Is it Caecilius?" Mordo denied his guess immediately just as soon as he thought of the name. Since Caecilius had betrayed them and run away shortly before, this guy was unable to stay around the Himalaya mountains now. After all, this was still Master Ancient One's area. And he was not so bold to stay here. "Don't look for it, Baron Mordo. It's me." Just when Baron Mordo was confused, Bruce's voice came. After hearing a voice, Mordo's face changed greatly and turned around to look at Bruce. "Who are you?" At the moment, Baron Mordo asked. He was very sure that he had never seen this stranger before. But this man knew his name, which meant that he naturally knew his identity. "Don't worry, I'm not malicious to you." At the moment, Bruce's face appeared with a hint of smile. He stood in front of Mordo quietly, looking very innocent. But Mordo was still vigilant. He lifted his hand and cut off the area around him. This was the magic power, which was a very unique force in the Marvel world. "I don't care who you are, or whether you are malicious to me, but I need to know why you're here." Then, Mordo took out his weapon directly, and the golden light was constantly shining. The weapon finally formed a whip. Bang! The whip hit Bruce directly, and it flashed in front of Bruce in a flash. The whip contained a powerful force, like a golden lightning. And Bruce did not get away and just let the whip fall down. But the moment when the whip was about to hit Bruce, he disappeared and instantly appeared in front of Mordo. This was the high-speed movement of Quicksilver. "I have told you, I'm not malicious, and I don't want to fight with you." At the moment, Bruce slightly frowned. He did not come here to fight with people. But Mordo did not care about them. He whipped the whip in the air and attacked Bruce again. This time, Bruce lifted his palm directly, and a red magic ball was formed in his hands and then collided directly with the whip. Boom! It was origin magic power of the Scarlet Witch, which was more powerful than the magic power of Mordo. After two forces collided, Baron Mordo's whole body stepped back rapidly, while Bruce immediately followed up. The strong anti-shock force made Mordo not organize effective counterattacks. When Bruce appeared in front of Mordo again, he had already reached Mordo's head with a gun. "If you move again, I'll let you regret it," Bruce said coldly. At this moment, Mordo was completely shocked. The magic power that this man had just used had completely crushed his magic power on the force level. What kind of person was this man? Mordo was guessing. "What exactly are you doing here?" At the moment, Mordo knew that he was not Bruce's opponent. He immediately asked. "I know that you are the disciple of Master Ancient One. I'm not malicious to you. I'm here to learn more about magic from Master Ancient One." Bruce put down the gun in his hand and said this quietly. At the moment, Bruce did not have a confrontation with Mordo, because he did not want to waste more time on Mordo. He hoped to see the Ancient One quickly. And Mordo slightly frowned after hearing Bruce's answer. Ancient One was a master, it was not someone else could see at any time. But at the same time, Mordo was curious about the magic power of Bruce, which was not any magic power that he had ever seen before. More importantly, he did not feel any maliciousness from Bruce. "Well, I can take you to see my master and to his holy place." Then, Mordo withdrew his weapon directly and answered. In Mordo's mind, his teacher was extremely powerful. Even if this powerful stranger wanted to come here to make trouble, it was impossible for him. Soon, Mordo took Bruce to an old and shabby building and he reached out to open the door. Then Bruce stepped into the door directly. After Bruce entered the door, he suddenly found that the scene in the room was completely different from the outside. Here it was more like a Buddhist temple in ancient China. And it was also Master Ancient One's holy place. Chapter 134, Ancient One. The decoration of this place was very simple and there was hardly any extravagant arrangement. In a way, it was more like an unworldly place which Chinese called When Bruce entered this place, he found that the place seemed to have become two different worlds with the outside world. And he could feel the change in space clearly. This was the power of the magic power. In fact, the inheritance of magic had always been very mysterious in the Marvel world. In the previous New York War or the Sokovia War, although Ancient One had the ability to directly calm the two wars, she did not do so. The root cause was that the thing that Ancient One and Avengers guarded was not the same, and the enemies they faced were also different. Ancient One's enemy was Dormammu, who had an extremely powerful existence, and its dangerous degree was the same as Thanos. But the Avengers did not know the existence of Dormammu, because Ancient One had already stopped Dormammu out of the earth. Therefore, Ancient One did not interfere in the Avengers. It could be said that their responsibilities were different. If it had to give them a definition of their responsibilities, the responsibilities of Ancient One were to avoid the Earth from the magic multiverse's damage, and she protected the Earth from suffering the magic power. As for the Avengers, they protected the Earth from physical harm from higher scientific and technological civilization, which was completely different from the Ancient One. At the same time, it was just because of the existence of the Master Ancient One, and the whole Earth would not be engulfed by the magic world. She had resisted the crisis of destroying Earth for many years by herself. She was truly respectable. After Bruce came to the holy place with Mordo, Mordo also did not relax his vigilance against him. In his eyes, Bruce was a very dangerous figure, because he had strong power. At the same time, he did not think that Bruce would defeat him in the real battle concerning life, even though he had lost one. Here is my master, Sorcerer Supreme, the guardian of the real world, the most powerful master on Earth, the Ancient One's residence. And Bruce nodded slightly after he heard Mordo's voice. Bruce really didn't understand why the Westerner gave Ancient One such a long title. But it was very normal. In order to express their admiration, there would also be such long titles in ancient China. It was just that when Bruce came to the holy place, he did not see Ancient One. "I want to know where the Ancient One is now," Bruce asked. At the moment, Mordo turned around and was a little stunned, because he didn't know where his master was either. Before this, no matter who visited, his master, Master Ancient One, could predict in advance. But now he had taken Bruce here for a long time, and his master still did not appear. Doesn't the master predict this person's arrival? This made Mordo a bit surprised. In the eyes of Mordo, the Master, Ancient One, was an existence who knew everything. And almost everything was under her control. Originally, no matter if he came to take her as his teacher or Caecilius's defection, Ancient One could predict everything. But his master actually did not predict this mysterious man's arrival. "Wait for a minute, I'll look for it." At the moment, Mordo could only say these to Bruce. And Bruce nodded. There were also some other people in the holy place, but no one spoke and focused on their meditation practice. Then Mordo ordered a man to send the tea and left. At the moment, Bruce sat cross-legs on the side and waited patiently. He was not worried that Baron Mordo was looking for helpers or playing tricks to deal with him. Because this was the territory of the Ancient One. Whether in comics or in movies, Ancient One was basically displayed in a positive image, so her disciples were not likely to do despicable things. More importantly, maybe there was no one who could attack Bruce quietly and successfully on the Earth. Even the Master Ancient One could not do it. Of course, Ancient One's strength was well known, so Bruce was extremely respectful in her territory. Bruce had to be cautious when he faced the Supreme Master. After all, she was really strong. Anyway, everyone was afraid of her. And Bruce came here not to fight with people. His purpose was to convince the Ancient One to believe in him completely. In about half an hour, a golden circle appeared in front of Bruce. The Ancient One and Mordo walked out from the golden circle. Just as the movie displayed, Ancient One was not only a woman, but she did not have hair. She wore a golden robe, and she was full of powerful demeanor, regardless of her temperament or demeanor. At this moment, Bruce stood up directly, looking at Master Ancient One in front of him. "Hello Master Ancient One, my name is Bruce Lite." This time Bruce did not reach out his palm, but introduced himself directly. And Ancient One did not say anything, She seemed very gentle and looked at Bruce with a smile on her face, quietly standing there. But Bruce clearly felt an extremely mysterious force rushing into his mind now. This power was reading the information and memory in his mind. It was just Ancient One's ability, not only powerful but also mysterious. But when Ancient One tried to read the memories and thoughts in Bruce's mind, she felt that her power was blocked by a mysterious force. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't get any information about Bruce. At the moment, Ancient One slightly frowned. When Mordo told her that someone was looking for her, she actually felt very strange. Because she had a strong ability and could even control the time gems to spy on the future. And she was very clear about what kind of person would appear and what would happen in the future. But she could not spy on anything about Bruce. It seemed that the person in front of her had the power of surpassing the time gems. Of course, Bruce also knew how powerful Ancient One was. If it was not that he had an unlimited download system, he would not have come to Ancient One so quickly. After all, in the Marvel world, this legendary Sorcerer Supreme was equivalent to the Bug. I've seen you, in the New York War and the Sokovia War. At this moment, Ancient One finally spoke. She slowly walked to Bruce's side with a mild face. Since she could not spy on Bruce, she would know about Bruce by herself. You're an Avenger? Mordo asked with a hint of surprise after hearing Master Ancient One's words. Even if Ancient One and her disciples all hid in the holy place, they clearly knew everything about the outside world. Especially Avengers, they gave more attention to them. This marks the end of part 18 of the story Marvel Unlimited Skills, I Can Download. Thank you for listening. Please like the video and hit the subscribe button to listen more. Hit the bell icon to get notified of all the new content uploaded to the channel ASAP.